So in my problem, this girl's holding on to monkey bars, and in this problem, I'm going to find the total tension in each of her arms. So I'm going to start off by drawing a free body diagram, and she is going to be represented as this dot. And so I'm first going to start off by drawing the force of gravity, which is going to be going in a downward direction, and I'm going to label this as Fg. And because Fg equals m times g and her mass is 50 kilograms, the force of gravity is going to be 500 newtons. So now I'm going to draw the force of tension, and they're going to be going out in 45-degree angles, just like her arms are. And I'm going to label this FT. And because these the angles of the tension aren't exactly along the x and y axis, I'm going to break this up into its horizontal and vertical components. So I'm going to draw these as vectors, and because this is going along the y-axis, I'm going to label this FTY, and because this is going along the x-axis, I'm going to label this FTX, and I'm going to do this on both sides. So I'm going to draw these vectors and label them. And so we know that the sum of the vectors is 0. And in order to find the total tension in her arms, we need to find and show that the sum of the forces in the y direction is equal to 0. So we need to use the components of the vertical direction. And so we're going to say that these vectors up here are going to be positive, and this vector is going to be negative, and together it needs to equal 0. So FTY plus FTY minus FG equals 0. We know that Fg is 500 newtons, so we can say 2FTY minus 500 newtons equals 0. 2FTY equals 500 newtons divided by 2, FTY equals 250 newtons. So we know that the force of this vertical vector is 250 newtons, but in order to find the total tension, we actually need to find this component right here. So that means we need to break this down further into another triangle, where we just zone in on this area. So this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So we're going to draw like this, and we're going to draw it as a vector. And so we know that this is 250 newtons. This is 45, and this is 45, and this is 90. So because of that, we know that this is 250 root 2 newtons. So now we know that this right here is this. So Ft, which is the force of the tension, equals 250 root 2 newtons. So in each of her arms, the force of tension is going to be 250 root 2 newtons.